What up, raft leaders? Welcome back to my channel. We're here outside on the seawall, right? That's the seawall behind me. And close to me here, that is the mangrove swamps. And the mangrove forest is growing up here. But beyond that, that is the Mudflats. Right, so we're here on Rupert Craig Highway. That is Rupert Craig Highway behind me, heading east. In the distance is the movie town, and in the other direction, that is heading west to Georgetown. That is Rupert Craig Highway. Now I want to explain to you three things. One is the existence of these mudflats. Why do we have mudflats here along the coast of Guyana? Two is, why is it that the coast of Guyana is 7 feet below sea level? And thirdly, why these mudflats are in fact an asset, because you can reclaim about 200 square miles of land if you dump sand onto those mudflats, creating more beaches and more land and more space for building. So that is what I want to explain in this video. Stay tuned. So guys, that is the Rupert Craig Highway West. But over here, these are mudflats. This is the famous mudflats in Guyana. Right, that's the mudflats. For at least a mile out, there is land beyond the seawall. And the reason why these mudflats exist is because the largest river in the world, the Amazon River, dumps all of this silt into the ocean along the coast of South America. And this silt, this mud, basically washes up on the shore. It's mud coming out of the heart of South America. Deep in the jungles of South America flows a river, the Amazon River, the widest river when you get to its mouth, its estuary. And that river brings billions and billions of pounds of sand and mud as it washes away the land in South America and dumps it into the Atlantic Ocean. And that rushing current of water slows down and spreads out in a huge arc across the coast of South America. And that water basically settles, the sand, the mud settles out of the water and creates these mudflats. These mudflats are about the same height as the land on the other side. Here's another pump station. Alright, this pump station is at Liliendal. It's been built here, I think, at least 30 years now, I think. It's an electric pump, impellers, and the way it works is that it sucks up water and pumps it across this seawall. So like I said, the land, the coast of Guyana is about 7 feet below sea level. And the reason why the land at the coast here is 7 feet below CY, and the reason why we need these pumps, like the one that's built at Ogo, which we just saw in the previous video. Go check out that video if you want to see the completion of the pump. Morning. The reason why the land is 7 feet below sea level is because of the tides, the existence of tides. Now at this time of year, the low tide is low enough so that you can see all these mudflats. Right, these are the fishermen boats here at Liliendal. There's the fisherman repairing nets. Right, it's the fisherman repairing his nets. The reason why the land along the coast is 7 feet below sea level is because of the tides. The moon creates the tides and the sun. So because of gravity and because the oceans are liquid, the oceans are attracted to the sun and the moon by gravity, creating a bulge along the equator. that is along the middle of the earth, and that bulge lines up with this part of the coast of Guyana, creating a higher level of sea than most other parts of the world. So the sea level at the full moon in Guyana actually raises the tides above the level of the seawall. So in fact, it is the moon tides and the gravity of the sun that creates that bulge in the Atlantic Ocean, which causes the level of the sea to be higher than the level of the land, which is the reason why this part of Guyana, the coast, is below sea level, and it's true for most of the equator. It's also why a lot of these islands that are close to the equator are susceptible to sea level rise. But the final point I want to make in this video is that these mudflats are an asset because you can actually convert them into land. The same way that the United Arab Emirates in Dubai created the palm, which is a huge man-made island jutting out into the sea. They simply reclaim the land by filling out the sea coast with sand, and they're building other islands, reclaiming land to create more space for development. The same possibility exists for Guyana. All of these mudflats can be built up. The only thing that prevents us from building up these mudflats into land, into reclaiming land, is money. And now that we have oil, we don't have that obstacle. We can actually use the land, the money from oil, to reclaim about 200 miles of coastland. So for 200 miles of Guyana's coast, these mudflats exist, and you can simply go a mile out. Like I said, these mudflats are extensive. They go for about at least a mile, in some cases 5 miles out. So for a mile out, you have land that can be reclaimed by simply bringing sand from the interior. In other words, we have a mountainous region in Guyana, we have a hilly sand region, hilly sand and clay belt region. That's what provides all the white sand for all the construction. If you drive along the roads in Guyana, you will see piles of white sand on the parapets, on the sides of the road, that's used for construction. All that sand comes from Linden and Soesdijk and the hilly sandy region. That sand is available to rebuild this, to reclaim this land. So instead of building high-rises along the exercise lands in Guyana by the national park, since the government is tapping into investment from the Middle East, from Dubai, from Qatar and so on, you can actually use that investment to reclaim this land. There's these mudflats, build it up about 7 feet, maybe even 10 feet, 14 feet high, higher than the coast, so that it is above sea level at high tide, and then you can build your hotels on that land, right? That would be the idea. The idea is that you can get 200 square miles of additional coastland by simply dumping sand onto these mudflats, which would be easy to do, right? They've already started to do that. The Marriott reclaimed the beach there by dumping sand onto it and created a white sand beach. And the further out you go, the closer you get to clear water, because say 5 miles out from this coast, the effects of the Amazon River begin to diminish, and you get clearer water that is even turning blue. This is on the other side. There is a developer working on some condominiums, some high-rise condominiums I think are being built on this land that's being developed. I think I showed this previously. Alright, this is Liliendaal. They cleared this land about 1.5 years ago, Right, they clear this land. $1 million on the other side of, can you see that? There. That sign says $1 million. So the other side of that boundary is $1 million. On this side, I think it's Bellier. So that's what's happening here, guys. They're building, they're preparing the land to build some condominiums, another housing development here along the coast, near Lindendal, between Lindendal and Bellier. And over here, all along the coast, there are mudflats that you can now reclaim. If Guyana wants to be, and this is Dubai, then this would be the place to start. By reclaiming all this land, 200 square miles of land, building, you know, sand bars or building out this land, filling out this land with sand for a mile out, all along the coast for 200 miles. You can get 200 square miles of land from which you can develop and build your coastal resorts. But that's the point, guys. That's what's the message I want to share in this video. That Guyana is growing faster than any other country in the world, but a lot of the development is being unguided or misguided, and there's a bigger vision that we can follow, right? The one where we built a coastal economy based on reclaiming all of these lands, these mudflats, by simply filling it out with sand. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Share this video with your loved ones, with your Guyanese abroad and at home, and with even investors who can see the vision here. Let people know what's happening in the fastest growing country in the world. Later!